Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Hearthstone World Championship. My name is TJ. I'm joined by the one, the only Neil Lorinda Bond. Lorinda, how you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing great as well, TJ. Of course, I'm doing great. Already off to a flying start this tournament, and plenty more action to come. And not too many surprises in the lineups, I don't think. I saw some people talking about, where's the mage? Why is there not? But honestly, I don't think there's been much of a surprise here.
Yeah, I mean, there's some weird decks here and there throughout the field, but nothing completely out of left field, with the exception of a couple of those multiple duplicate Reno decks. But we're cruising along with day one here. Nearly. Wait, what? We already have Reqvam down in the decider match. Maybe a little foreshadowing for what's about to happen in this next match. No, we assure you this is live. But yeah, we got the winners match for Group A coming up right now, so it should be a good one.
Yep, Hemlock and Reqvam both winning with ease, I think. Levick not banning the Paladin. I was interested when I saw that. Levick pretty much he likes to cook, does Levick, but not banning Paladin and then getting murdered by it from someone who didn't play much of the cards. They just didn't do anything for like 3 or 4 turns, really. Cleared one board, and off you go. Plague DK doesn't seem like it to me, I must admit. It hasn't seemed like it for a while, but I sort of trusted Levick to cook something, so maybe we'll see something in that lower bracket match later, more what he can do. But it didn't look very good. Giving Hemlock quite an easy ride, I think.
Yeah, Plague DK in a very interesting spot right now, I feel. And I still have a little bit of faith in the deck, and maybe Levick will be able to show that in that lower bracket, but did not have a good showing in that first series that he played against Hemlock. So we shall see if he's going to be able to turn it around as we move forward with the day and potentially into tomorrow.
Now, I'm not responsible for the profiles anymore, but if I was, this is the sort of thing I would put. Reqvam put this in himself. Known as the beacon of positivity in the competitive Hearthstone community. I mean, he's a little bit moody when he loses. I can resonate with Reqvam when I lose. But favourite game, Two Lies and a Truth. Yeah, there we go. There's the giveaway. But he has competed every tournament in 2023. He's been top 16 once, top 8 twice. So between them, they have 5 top 8s, and the winner of this will have another one. They'll have a top 4, in fact.
Yeah. Reqvam. Hemlock has just top 8s across the board, and that makes sense because I just realized you said 5 top 8s across the two of them, and you mentioned that Reqvam has 2. That would, by process of elimination, mean that Hemlock is bringing the other 3. But the deck we want to highlight for this series for Reqvam is that Control Warrior. Not a popular bring. Reqvam was able to take the game, obviously, in the first match that he played with this deck. And, in terms of how it's played, there's been some changes to the deck. Obviously, Reqvam, this is one of those decks that I said is playing the Reno with a lot of 2-ofs. But, I mean, you can get through your deck quite quickly, and there's a lot of 2-ofs in the deck that you really need 2 of. Specifically, some of those removal spells in the form of Belling Flames, Blade Storm, Trial of Fire. I feel like they're just too good to not include a copy, and I guess Reqvam thinks that Reno is just too good to not include, even if you're playing 5 pairs, 5 2-ofs.
Yeah, I played this warrior deck for a little while the other day. I think I only had 4 2-ofs. Reqvam has 5. I only had 3 in mine, and it plays surprisingly horribly, and then it wins anyway. I am surprised at double Blade Storm in a format where you're banning Paladin. That seems a little bit overkill, but I mean, it's a fantastic card, obviously, but you want as few 2-ofs as possible. Obviously, the Hammer, that makes sense. The Bellowing Flames, sure, it does 10 damage. Why wouldn't you have that? Shield Block kind of cycles through your deck. You kind of need it to get to your stuff. Trial by Fire, sure, absolutely ridiculously powerful card. Blade Storm, is it in that league, TJ?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thanks. Sorted.
Yep. Cool. Glad we got to the bottom of it. Take a look at Hemlock. As we mentioned, never finished below playoffs during Masters Tour. Favorite class Druid, favorite card Il'gynoth. Those two things are a little bit at odd with each other. But Il'gynoth, I mean, which version of Il'gynoth, right? The original,
Yeah.
the original version, yeah. The nerf version, probably still yeah, but not as yeah. More like a yeah versus a yeah.
But still the Demon Hunter being played. This deck, when you look at the stats, is quite a weak 4th deck, but also I can see why people bought this. It can get games done. It doesn't have any horrible matchups, I don't think, that you would like to see. So, sure, bring it as your 4th deck. But I do think it is a solid... It is the 4th deck in most of these lineups.
Yeah, it can take wins against just about anything. It can have those starts where you can beat anything. But it does have some glaring weaknesses, and that's why it fits in to that 4th deck slot and not one of the more prominent decks of the event, like say Paladin, for instance.
Paladin a prominent deck? No way.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. It's really. I can't even think of a meme to go with that. Of course, Paladin ridiculously strong right now. Not just the early game, but the removal it has, the late game it has, the 2/7 drops are both incredibly powerful. The cycle, the thinning, the sustain.
Mm-hmm.
Paladin's quite good.
Yep. You just mentioned
it's
pretty much
banned, but you know.
You pretty much mentioned every aspect of what makes a Hearthstone deck, and it's just strength across the board. Aggro, tempo, control, removal, big threats, card draw, AoE.
And because of how it functions, like pulling the 1-drops out of the deck, it's even more likely to curve than a normal aggro deck. Like a lot of aggro decks, you go 1, 2, 3, and you're sat there looking at a hand of 1-drops that don't do anything because it's turn 5 or 6, and you're like, oh, now I've lost. But Paladin has ripped all those 1-drops out of its deck, so it just carries on going. Oh, I've got my 7s in my hand because what else am I going to draw? There's no 1s left to draw, so yeah. Paladin incredibly strong, but it's being incredibly banned as well so far. So that's something we probably won't talk about too much over the course of the tournament. And here's a Paladin. All right, there we go.
There it is.
Interesting that Levick also left up Hemlock's Paladin. So I guess we should have a quick look through, see why. Nope, entirely standard build. Playing the version with 1 aura and 1 hammer, which is the version that became very popular, with APAC results in particular being very strong on ladder with this version. The hammer looks incredibly strange when you first see it in the deck, but it does a lot of little things. Obviously, it cycles, sometimes it removes a blocker, sometimes it kills your opponent, but it also reduces the Garden's Grace, because there aren't that many holy spells in the deck, so sometimes just that 3-point reduction on your Garden's Grace can just be quite important.
Yeah. Does this feel
Living Horizon?
Does this feel at home to you, Neil? Watching Paladin?
This deck?
Yeah.
I played some Paladin. I've played against some Paladins as well. Feels like home, yeah.
Well, Reqvam off to a decent start with the good curve. The Sigil on 3 also has Sharpshooter sitting in hand or whenever ready.
He does.
As well as
he's gonna
the
have to sharpshoot
Fellerin,
a lot of things.
which there has been some players that have cut Fellerin from the deck, which, you know, obviously there's not the most like outcast energy. There's some in the deck, but it's just good in terms of like just a tempo play on 4. And even if you look at like mulligan win rates across the board, it's just so powerful. So surprised to see some players cutting it, but Reqvam is not. Nicely placing the deck there in opening hand, and able to keep up the tempo and keep Hemlock off the board, which is what you want to do.
Yeah, or for Hemlock will be handy later. Has a decision now. Obviously, he can clear with just dude keeper strength, but that's not really what you want to be doing. Your keeper strength is far more powerful. You also really want to be keeping this coin for your Titan later on.
Yeah.
So that makes this turn look a little bit clunky right now. Obviously, with the aura being picked up, he can afford to take a bit more damage if he doesn't think he's going to die immediately. So we'll just see some sort of holding turn here, I imagine. Just very basic, straightforward. I don't know, hand on your Sanguine and off you go. See what you get from your hand. Reduces your Garden's Grace. It keeps your coin.
Well, if you don't have the board, though, is holding on to the coin for Titan as powerful?
And it's still... Yeah, I mean, it's not as powerful, but it's just such a great card to play down. It's still something that eats up your opponent's board.
Yeah.
I think he chose to play it on the one drop first, just to see what he picked up. There we go. It's fine. Wants to have something on the board for next turn, if possible, for the Aura.
Just a cycle for Spectral Sight. Couldn't get there. Don't want to dump the Sharpshooter from the left side. So just using it for one, and just going to continue to clean up the board here a little bit. But not making too much headway in terms of piecing together anything for this Sharpshooter, but is getting some of that chip damage, which is very good. This deck does have a lot of direct damage if it can swing face, and does have the going down, swing it in hand, which makes that a lot easier.
Setting up the Aura now with Showdown in hand. Showdown Keeper's Strength next turn, looking very tempting. With a, obviously with some trades for good measure. Gain a load of health.
Yeah. Okay.
Reqvam's just been hitting Hemlock forever, and Hemlock's on like 20 something still.
Yeah. Hey, 17. Ooh, the tier.
Do you feel safe? Get back a Living Horizon here, of course, is a big deal.
Yep. Makes you feel incredibly safe. It's not even the most powerful tier that you're going to see, but I mean, still so strong when played on curve. And rolling into a potential Titan next turn as well. Hemlock has just been playing with no board the whole game from every single turn, and it's still hanging in there. Now, to be fair, Reqvam has kind of had this awkward dead hand with Sharpshooter and Dispose of Evidence and Momentum in hand for quite some time. But it's going to be able to find the Midnight Wolf to clean things up. Aura still active, though, which makes things a little bit awkward in terms of like trying to push the little bit of extra damage.
Yeah, it just doesn't matter. I mean, Showdown and Keeper's Strength is a thing. If you don't clear, the Titan is a thing. Get asked quite a lot when I'm playing this about the tier. Why is it so good? Because it looks out of place. It doesn't get that much back a lot of the time. But it's just on curve, as you said. On turn 6, you get tier. Your opponent has to deal with it or they're getting tightened. And if they do deal with it, you might just be able to drop a Countess. It just fits in the right part of the game. It's one of those cards that isn't that powerful. It's not particularly amazing.
Yeah.
It just does everything you want to at exactly the right time. It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, Hemlock wants to just jam the Titan, but I don't think he's going to.
Let me think.
What are you looking at?
I mean, Showdown, Keeper's Strength, and you've got a Garden's Grace in there for good measure if you do that as well. Put some health on the board to absorb any shots that might come your way.
You ever think about boogieing down in Keeper Strength?
Definitely could. And you can still get a Garden's Grace on that as well. Yeah, he's torn.
Yeah.
Thing is, if he does the boogie play, then next turn he does have Showdown and Titan.
Yeah.
Which is a full clear because you make your people resilient.
Oh, is he just gonna clean up the board? Okay,
The
no
old-fashioned
keeper
way.
strength up whatsoever. I mean,
Sweet.
that makes a little bit of sense considering he does want to hold on to these minions that he's kind of value trading across. It does make the big righteous protector. I actually like this turn. So focus on the
Yeah, I
keeper
do too.
strength just because it gets rid of the downside of the showdown, but I think this worked out quite well. But we finally get a sharpshooter turn, even though it has the potential to be pretty lackluster. Okay, never mind. He's going to continue going. And then momentum. What was the cost of momentum? 1. Yeah, he kind of just want to make sure that he gets another Naga and another spell rotation through. Because Dispose of Evidence would have gotten rid of the momentum, and he wants to make sure that he has the time to clear. Ooh, okay. Well, in this instance, I'd probably just stop. Right? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so this is where I'm sat there next turn going, if only I hadn't wasted my keeper's strength.
Yeah.
Hemlock, being good at Hearthstone.
Yeah, he's so... Obviously, that sharpshooter was kept in the mulligan in hand since the beginning of the game, right? So he knows that's in the far left. So that was a very good call on his part to hold on to it, to try and find a more creative solution to deal with the previous turn, just because he wanted to make sure that he had an answer to the sharpshooter. So that's why Hemlock's there, and we're here. I just like to play keeper strength. Hemlock likes to win.
He might get a 2-mana countess here as well if he draws cards.
Yep. I mean,
My favourite
he
thing in the
didn't
world.
hero power first, so he's drawing cards.
There we
For
go.
sure.
2-mana countess.
Oh, yeah. 2-mana 2/2 countess, however, but hey.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I like playing the Silverwing here, actually, the way he was hovering, because if there is some sort of crazy sharpshooter nonsense happens next turn, which, you know, there probably isn't, this eats up 2 shots and the Countess only eats up 1, and you can still play all your invitations next turn anyway.
Remember this day, for you are graced with my presence.
Okay.
Gaia.
Have a Colossal.
Very good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mookler just fill their hand up.
yep.
Yeah. Now Reqvam misses a draw, and you know he had nothing last turn because he floated 6 mana. I just want to fill their hand up with bananas. Say you haven't got a turn.
Also,
He's just having a think to make sure that there's nothing can go wrong here, giving your opponent 8 spells that cost 1. But
also make a 10/10, I think, is a
Yeah.
a slight bonus to this play. And Reqvam
Yeah,
going to
okay.
tap out, and Paladin just feels so good. You leave it up, it feels that that's what happens. Maybe, small sample size, we haven't seen a lot. Obviously, this is the World Championship. These players have done extensive testing. They know the matchups inside and out. They had a plan for dealing with the Paladin. But in this situation, Hemlock is able to get across the finish line. Some great play. Not like the fastest start in the world. No, just boogie down on 3, perfect curve. But did have the hold on the keeper's vert, which was fantastic. So nice little win there from Hemlock to kick off this upper bracket series.
Yeah, and we've seen it do it twice now. I don't know how long it's going to keep being allowed to do it. But again, you worded it well. Like, these players have put in so much practice, they probably know better than you and I. But certainly in the high triple digits of Legend, this is exactly what happens in this matchup every time for the Paladin. As close to every time as Hearthstone does. It just finds a way to get health, don't die, clear board, then it's over.
Yep.
Or, you get the other start, the one you just described that Hemlock didn't get, where you just go 1, 2, 3, I've got 5 minions, oh, you're dead. Lol. So, yeah.
You're dead, lol.
That's what happens when Paladin happens to you.
Yeah.
I'm interested though why Reqvam did ban that Demon Hunter. I'd like to find out what is going on there. That's two people have done that now, or two people have not banned Paladin at least.
Yeah. Probably has something to do with the expected bans and just the fact that it can go fast. You know, beats up on Shaman, I'm sure. Just a sheer tempo, damage from hand, not necessarily reliant on a board that you can just kind of sweep up, and they do tend to go faster than you. Even if you have unlimited time, which you don't for the Shaman. So it could be a reason why. See the Demon Hunter ban against lineups with Shaman, if they do consider Shaman to be the weak link that needs to get across the board. But whoa, fast swap.
Do you think Shaman's
Hemlock.
the weak link?
No,
Against this lineup, maybe, but
yeah, against some lineups, I don't know. I think I don't have a lot of faith in the Nature Shaman if we look at the current metagame in the World Championship.
okay. I'm sort of in the Sottle bucket, I'm afraid, which is I think it's really good. I think that because every time I lose with it, I think there were 4 different things I could have done differently on the last turn that would have won the game, and I didn't do any of them. But maybe you just don't get there often enough. But I feel that Shaman's incredibly powerful. Let's have a look what he does with this hand. One of the interesting things with Shaman is what you do with the ancestral knowledge. When do you want to overload? When do you want to draw those cards? You really, really want those cards, but you also really want to turn 3. So yeah, he's going for maximum board fight. Not even keeping the flash.
Sometimes flash can be good for board fight, though. Especially since 2 is not a very powerful turn. So if you flash on 2 and then have like reflexes or something against aggro decks, that can oftentimes allow you to just find an answer.
Yes, if you've got the reflexes in particular, I've been definitely told relentlessly by people who know better than me, Tic Tac, Sot, or several others, that do that because you can get so much by you're reducing 2 or 3 mana at the end of the day on your turn 3.
Only against aggro, though. However,
yes, only against aggro. To be clear, yes. Just to get something going, just to clear some stuff, maybe have a turn the tides minion, whatever it's called, left over at the end of that turn. Flow Rider.
oh, that's tough.
Crash.
Is it crash though? I guess.
Yeah, I think so. You hate it, but you take it.
Yeah, well, you have Titan too, but maybe Titan is too late.
Yeah, Titan is your second go, right? You want to have cleared once before that, I think.
Yeah.
Now you've got reflexes. Now you've got a decision to make onto what will be an empty board. You can flash Salesman, have some stuff to do next turn, and try and get the tempo. Then you've got to work out when you're playing Turn the Tides, though, because you don't want to overload on the turn before you coin your Titan out.
Yep. Sure. Salesman Totem seems fine. It does present that question that you just mentioned for next turn, which is, okay, what do you do on 4 when you want to coin Titan on 5?
Maybe you don't coin Titan. You don't get the 3 mana reduction and you've used a coin. Maybe he just doesn't want to do that.
Possible. Eesh. I mean, you could always just start.
Yeah, I mean,
He could start with just a trade and then a trade, like kill off the miracle cells.
oh, I'm down some rabbit holes here. I want to turn the tide, coin flash, or something ridiculous. If you're going to do that, you do the flash first. But yeah. Then next turn you've got 4 mana, but it's reduced spells with some quite good stuff in hand. And then the turn after that you've got potentially Titan. That doesn't seem that great either.
Nothing seems fantastic. When in doubt, flash.
You don't need to coin turn. Save the coin for the big turn next time. But then what do you do? Do you just totem and hope you don't start dying? Alright.
Guess that answers your question.
So much mana next turn though, right TJ? 6 mana reduced, well if you count the coin, with reduced stuff. Reflexes in hand. It needs to be a good one, but it should be. Turn the tide in hand as well, reduced. It's going to be a lot of mana spent next turn. And a lot of cards drawn, potentially, hovering over that Thorim there.
Mm-hmm. Reqvam, though, also assembling his own powerful turn here. Potentially.
Yes. It's still a little bit short on... No, he's not that much short, is he? He's got a lot of mana next turn.
Yeah. We'll have 8 mana next turn. Coin also doubles as just a spell for the sharpshooter in a cycle, so... We're looking alright.
I think he's already working out how he's going to pace it with various things next turn. Alright, it's go time. What's in the box?
Yeah, it's the only one that makes any sense.
Yeah. The first one
cycle.
is the Discover.
Ooh.
Another flash. You put double flash in the bin for next time. If there is a next time.
You only really need one, though. So you could just flash this turn. Just to have potentially maybe more powerful turn next turn. Still, like, very far away from a kill. Still missing burn. Plus bioluminescence.
Take the storm and don't play it maybe here. I'll just go for double feral, fine. I'm okay with this. Think of getting this down to buff the crash into clear range. After the feral comes down, seems reasonable. Okay. Sensing the pop-off turn, so just putting as much health on the board as possible. And also, obviously, that can just kill people. Kept up 3 mana for next turn as well for the Overload for the Thorim.
Yep. Solid.
Nice.
Is this really better than nothing?
Going down swinging. But that passes it back to Hemlock, even though it's a lovely clear. You know, all the mana is gone, so Hemlock gets another go to do what he likes this turn.
Yep. But that was a pretty big push and a lot of resources spent to make that happen. So, but now seeing the Thorim, basically a reset. Okay, Jazz base, still missing all the burn.
Yeah.
Titan can help out with that, obviously.
Alright, Reqvam. Show us what you got.
Is this really better than nothing?
Double dispose, a little awkward.
Yeah.
but this should do it, right?
I would imagine so. There's significant damage in hand already with this momentum and dispose, right?
Yeah. Yep, that'll do it. Even just double dispose is enough. At that point, had 7 attack, double dispose +6, but it's just gonna keep going. Probably out of muscle memory at this point, just to make sure the Demon Hunter game is on point. I told you,
It sure is.
Shaman's a week late against this line.
Well, Reqvam's a believer.
Yeah, that's correct. He's a believer, but that's going to tie the series up 1-1. Nice little series there. Didn't feel like Hemlock had too bad of a game. Just Reqvam pressured at the right times, which kind of forced Hemlock to play these reactive turns, and the going down swinging, I feel, was crucial in that sense, because instead of Reqvam having to use the sharpshooter to try and clean up the board, was able to just buff the attack a little bit, get rid of the tempo push from Hemlock in that instance, and basically resetting the board state, knowing that he had sharpshooter going into next turn where Hemlock was overloaded. Even with Thorim, that's still 3 of your mana spent. He's not going to have an opportunity to really put on much pressure again. So well thought out from Reqvam, and was able to get that final push there right at the end. Way over lethal once everything was said and done. So 4.
So there's one ban of Demon Hunter, one ban of Paladin. The Demon Hunter wins on the other side, the Paladin wins on the other side, and we're as you were. So I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? We're back down to the match as it was. 1 Shaman left each with Reqvam's Warrior. We've talked about that quite a lot, and Hemlock's Mage, which, again, there's a few people, Twitter and chat and stuff. A little bit surprised how little Mage there is. Are you surprised, TJ?
I think Mage is one of the more targetable decks. And I think, I guess there's quite a few players that brought Shaman and Mage, but I was going to say if you're deciding between Shaman and Mage in a specific instance, then I think Shaman would fit that slot better, just given the current metagame. I think it has the potential to go faster. It has more tools to fight for tempo outside of just keyboard. But I'm a big fan of Mage, to be quite honest. It's just these players didn't think that the field would be super lucrative for a Mage bring.
For the Frost Wolves.
Okay, well, this is the game that could very well decide this potential match and decide who goes through to day 2 and gets to put their feet up overnight, because it's the Shaman Mirror. If this is the weak link, as people are starting to maybe suggest, you want it out of the way in Conquest. You want it gone. You want to win. You always want to win, but you really want it out of the way.
I like how you say, as people are starting to suggest.
Yeah, that's you, TJ. You're suggesting it.
Meanwhile, I'm the only person who you've spoken to.
Uh-huh.
I'm starting to suggest.
Yeah, as TJ is starting to suggest.
Yep. That's me.
Schooling. We have seen earlier today, and for months now, getting a little bit on the board in the mirror is a huge deal. It makes your combo easier. If you can chip away 10 damage by 10, oddly enough, it puts your opponent's damage and their removal under threat, because they have to start actually spending their damage on your things that they don't want to do. So schooling a big deal early on here, but also a big deal, Hemlock's just hitting Reqvam right out the block. Feral Thorim's alright?
Yeah, that's just fine. Just tempo, right?
Yep.
Getting that chip damage in, but Reqvam has the answer with the Turn the Tides. Nice and clean.
Indeed it is.
Also
cut
has
off his
Thorim?
coin Inza.
Yeah.
Also has Thorim, yeah.
Yeah. Can just go Thorim into Inza.
Yeah.
Also, Thorim will unlock the mana crystal to use the final piranha to trade over the Thorim on the other side, which is pretty clean. See if that's the route that Reqvam decides to go.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing on his mind, and then he'll spend time thinking now, but what else is there? Like, he's seen that play in a millisecond. Now it's, what if I play Feral Spirits? What if I do something else? And then, yeah, you play Thor and play the fish because there's nothing else that looks good. Picks up a second schooling from the Thorin, ready for next turn as well. And Hemlock's got this, you know, horrible looking turn where he definitely loses tempo. Go on, put your world in double flash into double ancestral. What could go wrong?
Many things.
Sensibly. Yeah, play sensibly. See if I care.
So a weird hand though. Double flash, double bio.
Just want to follow up a point there that Sottle made earlier about this. Jazz base only has one swing effectively because the second one is when you want to trigger it to set up.
Yeah.
Hemlock choosing there not to use the one swing because there's no way he's popping off next turn.
Yeah.
So that swing could be used to control the board later.
Yeah. That's a habit that I had to get myself out of for a while, was automatically swinging with Jazz base as soon as I equipped it. Which sometimes is good if you want to use it to fight for tempo, or like you said, if you are going to pop off in some way next turn. Or you need it for tempo or whatever. But in this instance, making sure that that first swing is directed at something meaningful instead of just 3 damage to face. Who knows? Maybe it'll end up being 3 damage to face, but he doesn't know that yet, Neil.
He doesn't, but he's under a flash with reflexes in hand next turn, so he thinks he might need it. Also, he might have to go for it even if he hasn't got it, because he's about to take chunks of damage, and Reqvam's about to get a big board. So
yeah, and he's seeing a flash here. He's seeing card draw.
Yeah.
Seeing more board being built up. I mean, as it currently stands, Hemlock just doesn't even have any bioluminescence targets. Needs a Feral Spirit, maybe potentially. Command of Neptulon. That is something.
4 mana.
3 mana.
To cycle another flash. Yeah, 3 mana. Sorry.
Oh, Lightning Bolt. So he can bio.
Yeah.
Swing bio. That's +6.
Crash.
That's enough with the snake oil at the end. I mean, if he double bios, then it's way more than it. No, it's 6, yeah. 9, 18, 27. Yeah, that'll do it. I don't think he even needs the snake oil. Doesn't even need the second lightning bolt.
Billion. He just.
Nicely done.
Oh my. Yeah.
And sometimes you get in those situations, you're under pressure, no minions in hand, whatever. Wing it. You gotta wing it. You gotta fly by the seat of your pants and say, I'm gonna lose this game if I don't pop off next turn, so I'm gonna double flash and try to find it. Had no minions, no way to generate minions in hand the previous turn and at the start of the turn, but was able to find the command of Neptulon to generate some way to get enough spell damage to win the game.
I mean, there's Turn the Tides, there's Neptulon, there's Feral Spirits, there's quite a lot in that box, so
Yeah.
when you're under double flash, none of your cards cost anything. There was an emergency Ancestral if he needed it. That may have been enough the way it went as well.
Yeah. Only needed 2 minions in that instance too, right? So Turn the Tides could have done it with the Totem up as well, because did end up having so much overkill there with both the snake oil and being able to go double bio. So he would have had +4 spell damage with just 2 minions on board, which would have been 24 damage, which was what he needed.
You asked
Was that what he needed? Plus
He
Turn the
needed
Tide
27.
Yeah. The Turn the Tides would have been the extra 3, so even Turn the Tides would have done it there. Feral Spirits, like you said, Command of Neptune, or Turn the Tides have all been enough.
I don't know how much the good players calculate all that and how much they just have played the deck so many times. They just know that it's going to be...
Well, yeah, I don't think he calculated it.
It's a good chance it's there.
Yeah, I think he just said, I need to do this and then find a way to win, or else I'm going to lose. All right, getting to see some mage here. Mage versus shaman.
Throws away the 1-drop, looking for those 4s. Specifically cold case.
The storm is in me.
How can there be a decision on turn 1? But there is. There's all sorts of options here.
Yeah. Good arcane Wyrm. Coin bolt. That's what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
I guess there was decisions there, but to me there wasn't really a decision. You just want to get that 3-2 out of the way, because when are you dealing with it otherwise, right?
Go with the flow.
And now the Flow Rider's exposed as well, because even the thought of a value trade can't happen.
Yep.
Doesn't want a keyboard because he's going to be playing 1-mana spells, and it's not tempo.
One dose solves any problem.
Picks up a 4 for the keyboard. Doesn't like it. Oh, this hand. Yeah, Reqvam taking his time. He's got a lot of pop-off potential in a couple of turns. Obviously, that's what the deck does. It's no surprise.
Yeah. For Hemlock, that with double elemental inspiration in hand, this kind of has to be a play towards those. It can be a hard card for Shaman to deal with if it's beefed up a little bit. If you got a good amount of spell schools being played, which Hemlock will have by that point.
I've got an idea how Reqvam will deal with a turn 7 inspiration, to be honest.
Uh-huh.
He will kill... Reqvam will kill Hemlock if it goes to that, I think.
Yeah. No, that's entirely possible with the way this is playing out. And there's Bio. So yeah, we are looking towards something potentially big here.
Yeah.
Especially if minions
Like,
just like stick on board going into those turns. Like we could realistically see like Jazz Base and Flash next turn.
I think he's going to consider it now. This is what he wanted to do, right? Jazz Base and Flash. Let's see what he gets. Oh, another schooling?
Could schooling Jazz Base Flash. He's not going to flash. Going to go one more turn. Just to make sure to clear these things up. But it's very close. Does need some additional burn spells in order to start to make this work, but he is flying through his turns.
Yeah, he's just trying to get that little bit of extra chip on the board, or at least tie up the mana for Hemlock. So Hemlock, who is obviously struggling a little bit. I don't know how obvious it is to Reqvam, but I think it probably is. This 2 damage could matter a lot. Weirdly. And the minion obviously matters a lot if you're going to try and pop off. Yeah. Getting to the point now where Reqvam needs to make it happen in the next couple of turns, like we were saying earlier. If he's going to go off on response to an inspiration, he needs to flash now. That's the plan.
A lot double.
I think he's just counting how many minions he thinks he'll play next turn. Do you want the snake or do you want the minion for the bio? That sort of thing. He's got a fish. He's got a zapper. He's got two looks plus a draw.
Yep.
He's got so much mana next turn. Counterspell? Yeah.
That's helpful.
It really is, because with Shaman, you don't want to just test face with a lightning bolt, right? Because you want a bio before you lightning bolt.
Yeah.
So if there's a counterspell on the board and you have to test with one of your damage spells, everything's just a bit messy for you.
Yeah, this is like the ultimate disruption here. With both the cryo, so can't swing in with the jazz base, and then the counterspell. So good thing Reqvam held on to the second flash, because it's likely going to have to try and do that. Unless you can just snake oil and still get there, even without the swing. Like snake oil, test for counterspell. You have Piranha plus Novice Zapper. It would depend entirely on what the lightning reflexes hit, right?
Yes. Well, he tested with the flash, so he was thinking of going this turn.
Oh, no, that... So we're looking at, what, +4 spell damage?
Yes.
So that's 21 plus the snake oil, which is 25. Am I counting that incorrectly?
4, 21. I'm making 25 as well. It doesn't mean it is 25.
Oh, he still had the second lightning reflexes. That was the first pick from the lightning reflexes.
Okay.
But he got Turn the Tides off the second pick. He was hoping for burn damage, but now Hemlock is dead to just the swing of the jazz base.
Yep.
Or any burn spell, additional burn spell from hand.
He tossed away the Artificer in his opening hand as well. I'm not saying that was incorrect, by the way. Just going back to the irony of the situation.
Yeah. It's the damage treasure. What are you? Elemental Inspiration. Hope there's no burn and hope you get a bunch of taunt.
Bunch of taunts and some lifesteal, yeah.
Yeah.
What to do? What to do?
I think that's possibly the only route here for Hemlock. Can't draw. If Wisdom costs... let's see. Oh, double taunt, double lifesteal. Okay.
Ooh.
And you deal you either use the treasure or the bolt on the zapper. So it's still any burn spell is enough. Oh, that's 4 cards.
Yeah. Surely.
Yeah.
No.
He
No.
smiled, so it looked like he didn't hit any. Oh no, that's enough. He gets both rushes and then he can swing face because he has 2/2/3s to trade through. So he does get there. No burn spells, but the double Turn the Tides is enough to turn up the board. In fact, he needed 3 taunts in order to be protected from that. So not able to get it. And Reqvam gonna tie the series at 2 apiece. And whoa, he just flipped sides. I'm disoriented now. He was facing the other direction.
Whoa. What's happening?
Whoa.
This is his winning direction face. So when he comes back, we have to see which way he's facing. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it
But well
works.
done by Reqvam there. And it's kind of a very expensive hand for Hemlock. Was never able to get full tempo. Had to use the coin on turn 1 just to kill the Novice Zapper. And just was kind of trying to play catch up the whole game. And I like the turn with the just infinitize the Maxitude and try and go for full disruption on the flash turn. Realize that it's very possible that he was dead if he didn't. And use the cryo as well to freeze the face to try and block the jazz base from being able to swing. And did get a solid outcome from the elemental inspiration, and given one more turn, if it wasn't exactly Thorm off the top, I think Hemlock might have been able to turn the corner. Just because that was the turn that he needed Thorm, because it wouldn't have been nearly as good if it had been picked up on subsequent turns, because he would have been, what, 1, 2 overloaded, definitely not 4. So capitalizing on that window of opportunity.
He's going to gain 8 health. Reqvam's going to get one more card, and then he's going to kill Reqvam the next turn after that anyway. So yeah, just in the nick of time for Reqvam. But again, he planned for it in that order. Hemlock did everything he could to disrupt it. Reqvam, as we saw with the mirror match actually, when Hemlock won, just working out when's my opponent going to kill me, try and kill them one turn before. It sounds easy when you can see both hands and when you're watching the game from here, but that's the hard part of Shaman. Definitely is just deciding I can win next turn, I need to win next turn, let's go for it. Or I don't need to win next turn, sit back, feed up, get a nice easy win the turn after that. And we're down to the 2 decks that are different in the lineup. We've got the Hemlock Mage, we've got the Reqvam 2 of Reno deck that we're going to talk about every time Reno's not active.
It's always going to be active. It's not, actually. In fact, it wasn't already today. So,
but that's okay, because Yogg was active.
Yeah. But, I mean, Reqvam, the beacon of positivity in the Hearthstone community, right?
Yep.
You got to think positive like that and think every time you draw the Reno, it's going to come right on time and it's going to be active. That's what the beacon of positivity would do.
Yes. Yes, it is. If Reqvam were the beacon of positivity that he says in his two truths and a lie, then yes, that's what he would do.
Yeah.
And he's gone.
Chair. Hemlock versus Chair.
Yeah.
Aw, Reqvam's back.
Amazing. Don't be like that. There's a good chair though.
Yeah, solid. Very good chair.
So Hemlock needing to win this one game to reach his 4th day 2 in a row, which is all 4 events this year. The loser obviously gets another go later on, so not out yet. And the winner goes straight through to the top 4.
Yeah, you don't want to lose right now though. Like, honestly,
horrible,
I'd prefer to lose in the first match, get your jitters out, right? Then to get to the winner's match, go to game 5, and then lose. Because then you have to reset all of that sort of like adrenaline and nerves that you get going into that final game, knowing that you're that close to a top 4. Like, come on now.
Those paladins have been getting the jitters out, TJ.
Yeah. We got 2 of the 2 ofs already out the way, Neil. We got Bellowing Flames, we got Shield Block.
Okay. 3 to go.
I mean, it's Reno may not even be relevant. I don't know. It can be a pretty slow matchup.
It could be pretty good, yeah. Keyboard coin cold case, that's my favourite thing to see. I've never mentioned this before, but Mage does seem to occasionally play a keyboard on 2 and then coin out a cold case.
Yeah.
It's a thing I've noticed.
We do have ETC in hand as well for Reqvam. Has Heavy Plate, Steam Cleaner, and Theatar in the ETC. Theatar seems pretty good for this matchup, oftentimes. The timing of it can sometimes be the question at hand, but...
I do like the thing Reno decks do, or don't like, I'm not sure. It's a thing that they do, though, to have a cheeky 2 of in their ETC. So the Heavy Plate's a 2 of, but it doesn't count as a 2 of. So you hide the Reno cards in the ETC. Because they're good cards.
Yeah. I prefer to just have 3 very situational cards that I wouldn't want to put in my deck in there. Which is what Reqvam decided to do. That's my preference.
Well, he's done both, right? He's got a cheeky Heavy Plate.
Yeah. Yeah, but Heavy Plate I feel like is a very highly situational card. It's like not a desperation card. It's like, all right, my opponent's at 10, and I have no Armageddon in hand. I've played Odin. Here's my Heavy Plate. Or I desperately need to draw one specific card, and I have no card draw in hand, but I do have an ETC. So let me take a heavy plate and trade it.
I think it's pretty good in the mirror as well. Because the mirror just becomes a smash fest. And you kind of both run low on resources, so
yeah.
Probably take it in the mirror.
Yeah.
Not that you're going to play a mirror of 5-2 of Reno Highlander. You know, if you did. Reverberations, and you've got a fire spell in your hand. Sweet. I'm a fan. There's a lot of better targets, but there's not much of a better turn right now.
Is there, though?
I guess there's not that many. I guess there's not...
Like Khazgroth, maybe, but...
Oh, yeah, there's no Yogg. Only the prison.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, there's not that many better targets. Okay.
Odin would just be to remove a big thing, right? It's just a removal spell for Odin at that point, because it doesn't give you any effect. Thori Balor is the only one that's going to have like this sort of residual effect on the game, I feel. So I think it might actually be the best target.
Thori Balori is how it's said in the trade, I believe.
Squirrel!
Okay, sure. You win.
I pulled squirrel rank on you, so you got to concede the correct pronunciation. All right, Reno's in hand. How many 2-ups have we made it through so far in this game? Only 2.
Well,
oh no, 3.
Yes. Yeah, because we've got the trial as well. So there's just the hammer and the blade storm remaining.
Nice. Just
out of those 19 cards.
Just needs to find it before the elemental inspiration, and then even then, you know, he might just want to use a blade storm instead. I don't think it really matters. It's just fun. All right. Prison time. Nothing else to do, right?
Right.
All right. Cool.
Slug people aimed it, I think. It didn't die.
Oh, that's a lot of cards. Holy moly.
Yeah. Down to only 14 cards left in deck already. It's turn 7.
It has tempo too, which is just... Alright, it might be... I was going to say it might be time to start looking towards the ETC. Finding a minute to play to get that Theatar to try and rip the Sith.
Maybe.
So enthusiastic with your maybe. Maybe.
I'm deep in thought. I'm excited, TJ, honestly.
Maybe.
Yeah. Just a hammer to go, by the way, and then Reno would be active.
And then we're cooking.
And then we can remove the inactive Thori Balori from the other side. This is a turn, by the way. We've got drum circles, we've got Thoris, we've got elementals, we've got all sorts of things going on here.
Yeah, it's just a drum circle play. Just get nature in the pool. It's about as good as you can hope for. In terms of board, it's pretty good board.
Yeah, there's also never going to be another time to play drum circle, because if you're Elementals stick next turn, then kind of won anyway, so you might as well get something out of it now as well.
It's
nice,
just always active, Neil.
Always active, yeah. Always active.
Oh my god. It's just always active. Okay, 1 turn away from on curve. Fine.
But it was perfect because it's come down before the elemental turn.
It's like the perfect turn to use it to. For it to be
Cold
active.
case, no. Elemental inspiration, no. Okay, I'll play some spells then. You talked me into it.
Yeah, just try and be as productive as possible with your mana. Can we finale this, infinitize the Maxitude?
I mean, we can. Do we want to?
Salesman. Oh, it's just gonna play for armor? No.
Well, he gets the infinitize that way.
One's out on me.
I would just keyboard ping infinitize over using the cold case here.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, you waste a charge of the keyboard. Well, yeah. Yeah, you do.
See if Reqvam can get a better Yogg this time.
Just prison face. I mean, that's a perfect spell to play into objection. With the Germanger.
Just gave his otter that already had rush.
Germanger.
What is a Germonger anyway?
It's just a giant worm.
Huh.
I remember
Why don't
back
they just
in
call it giant
the
worm? Sorry.
Wrath of the Lich King expansion, or alternatively in World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King Classic, out now, by the way. In that zone in the middle, I forgot the name of it. Bummer on me. There's many a roaming Germunger throughout the frozen tundras.
What to
Huh.
do? What
Yep.
to do?
And
Starland.
you have to watch your step very carefully, because at first they're underground, and then as you approach, they emerge.
Oh. But if you don't know they're emerging, surely that's a little bit less terrifying.
I believe they do give advanced warning in the form of a swirly brown area on the ground.
Like moles?
Again, apologies if this information is incorrect. It's been a long time since I've battled a Germunger in Northrend.
Look, I'm desperately trying to hold on to this sanitize. Trying to work out if he can keep some of his own board at the same time. I'm not ignoring you, TJ. Just thought I'd look at the Hearthstone for a minute.
No, I was pretty much done. I'm out of information to give on the topic.
Well, I feel enlightened now, so I appreciate it. I guess
glad.
a lot of these pauses for Reqvam now will be looking at the bottom of his deck as well. He's got this big Finley available to him to fetch an Odin at some point. Obviously, so far through his deck that he has a good idea what he'll pick up. And they're back. Plays the 1-2 for the Bladestorm purposes. Costs some more mana at least to deal with then. Otherwise, Reqvam would shoot his own. Yeah, just putting different numbers of health on the board.
Wow!
Just Yogg.
Oh!
Oh my goodness,
Oh!
that's disgusting. Uh-huh. And you too, matey.
That was free, by the way. Well, he paid 7 mana for it originally.
Yeah, 2.5 mana for that. It's alright. I always want to just 14 them here. I don't know if you should, but I always want to. You should probably play the elementals, really.
I don't know. 16. I'm gonna go with the ETC. The guitar. No sip right now.
Not there.
But infinitize the maxitude.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Reverb's
actually,
there as well.
I could make a case for all of these. A discounted
Yeah.
reverb is pretty massive. Yeah, I think it's got to be discounted reverb, right?
I think so.
Yep.
Otherwise, you're just dead to Sif for sure. You're probably dead to Sif in a lot of situations anyway. But if the reverb's there, you're just dead to it.
Yeah.
So, Infinitize has kind of done its damage now as well. Nice though it would be to have another one. Take the middle one.
What to do? What to do?
This Blade Storm's disgusting though as well.
Time runs out on me.
Okay, okay.
Cold case. Maxitude.
Yeah, he's weaving.
Stop that. Back to the maxitude.
Oh, 0 mana bolt as well. Look at all these bolts and snake oils. It's so much now. Yeah, Reqvam's just trying to get as much armor as he possibly can. He's just making sure it matters. He wants to play this. He's hovered over it. He's just double checking that does it even matter? If I get Sift, am I just dead? Do I need to cycle it to try and win the game instead?
Yeah.
Fast here.
Working out some breakpoints probably. Which means he's got to estimate the number of bolts and things he thinks he's up against, which is always fun. So yeah, he's just if in doubt, get the extra 8 and hope it makes a
Yep.
breakpoint work.
Because even though Theotar didn't see Sif, it's not a confirmation that Sif isn't there. Right. So
Yeah, and Hemlock's drawn twice and cycled once, now twice since then as well. So
yeah.
but no Odin's making this really hard for Reqvam. You just can't close out the game. No minion for all these. Oh. Power chord. Just to get the keeper's strength played.
Or Holy.
And to get
Yeah, I guess the keeper strength, sure, would also work,
Runs out
but
on me.
another infinitize.
we're not even hearing the wow.
No, not even boop.
What is it? Is Fell? Oh, there we go. Wow. Didn't hear it the last turn.
Here we go.
On a clock.
Blaze is properly on. Yeah.
Yeah. No armor gain left in the hand, however. There's
Sif.
Sif. We can't see the discoverers, so... If he hasn't played Fell, he's probably looking for... Bell Screen Blast.
Sif Reverb.
He's fine Rush. If with Reverb can only play one of or two of the Arcane Bolts is certainly not enough. Because it'd just be 2 Arcane Bolts and a Snake Oil, even if the Fell spell is played.
How much is the spell damage?
7?
Time runs out on me.
10, 20, yeah. It's nowhere near, is it, actually?
I mean,
twice,
it's close.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
Sif
7
plus
twice is a lot.
Reverb plus Arcane Missile, 34 plus 14, 48. He's at 56.
So it was real close.
Yeah.
The 8/8's been left up here.
That just goes to show you the value of picking the discounted Reverb from the Theatar earlier, as opposed to the Infinitize the Maxitude. Because if that Reverb was discounted by 1 and both Arcane Bolts could have been fit in there, that was lethal.
Reqvam missed all of his armor spells here.
Just Ignis.
There was the plating left in the deck, I think, which is what he was probably looking for there. Which must be the other card, if it is. Because there's one card he didn't draw there.
Then he can trade for it. Hammer. Yeah, I mean, still very good. And I don't know how Hemlock is going to find the damage. Is there a second Snake Oil in his deck?
Hemlock has another... he's got both Salesmen, apparently. That can't be right.
Yeah.
There's a Prismatic Elemental. Oh, that's what it is. It's the Elemental. The new cards are buggy, I think, for me. So there's an Elemental. Can find it.
So it'd have to be direct damage from Prismatic Elemental, but...
He needs to not die right now. So
Yeah,
he's
in
gotta
order
play
to
the
survive
Artificer
here.
and stuff. He's counting it again. I don't blame him.
I believe he was, what, 6 or 8 damage off on the previous turn. Now it's even further, obviously. It's gonna, what is,
Yeah.
it's gonna reverb it?
Surely with the reverb gone, he's in can't
Yeah.
land. But he concluded he was dead next turn, probably rightly so. So he had to do something.
Yep. And you're
just making more armor.
yeah, you're when in doubt, just play the heavy plate. Actually, ended up being the difference, right?
Yeah.
So many small things end up being the difference. The take on the discounted reverb instead of the infinitize the maxitude. Check. 3 mana to spare. No Odin played. Heavy played anyway. Gain the armor. Check. I don't even know what you're looking for here. Moonbeam? Moonbeam,
And
maybe.
those things you just talked about were really important, right? They're things that Reqvam took time about. Like things that normally you just play on ladder, you just throw it out there and either do it or you don't. He took time, and it has put him through to day 2. 3-2 win over Hemlock. Hemlock's first time having to battle it out. He may still get to day 2, but Reqvam looking good. Top 4.
Very nicely. Whoa! The very delayed. Nicely done by Reqvam. And huge weight off his shoulders as well. Like I said, I would not want to win the first match and lose the second match because you're just sitting there stewing for a whole day. You gotta. My gosh, I'm still not in the top 4. I still have so far left to go, but Reqvam just booking the slot right out there.
And now he has 3 or 4 hours to calm down before he goes to sleep. He might need them, looking at that reaction. But Reqvam into the top 4. One of the players who has done a lot for Hearthstone this year with streaming and keeping people up to date. You know, with Pocket Train, Meaty, Banterface. Giving us the player's eye view of the World Championships all the way along. So, pleased to see him get there. Would be nice to see Hemlock get there as well. But, yeah, Reqvam, top 4. Chance to be a world champion, TJ.
Yeah. Solid series throughout the day, too. The Warrior pick coming in clutch. Obviously, you know, the Reno on curve helped out a little bit there, being active. But, hey, he built the... That's just perfect deck building across the board. Knowing exactly when the Reno needs to be active. Oh, is that slow-mo or am I lagging? Is slow-mo?
Yeah, I think that's slow-mo.
I think it's slow-mo. Okay.
That's really good slow-mo as
It's
well.
funnily enough,
We
that's
ruined
exactly what it
amazing
looks
production,
like
actually. That was actually
when it
really
lags.
cool.
Yeah. That's how I cast many times. But yeah, very end of the series for me personally, and I'm sure for many Reno enjoyers out there it was also. But Hemlock not out yet. Hemlock will have to fight through the decider match, which will actually take place tomorrow on the schedule. So today we're playing all the way up through the decider match of each group, and then tomorrow we're going to be going to the decider matches and then right into the semifinals. So here we go with the Group A matches. We've completed everything that we're going to complete today for Group A, with the exception of that elimination match, that lower bracket match, which was the players that lost those first matches of the day, Gu and Levik. Very curious to see how Levik's going to fare, because I do feel like Levik over the past couple of years has been the player that's impressed me the most, but his entire performance hinges upon whether or not that Plague Death Knight can show up.
Yeah, and whether he can find a way to stop the Paladin as well, because nobody looks like they can stop Paladin at the moment. I'm waiting for people to start switching and start banning that Paladin instead of the...
Yeah. That's an easy fix,
Hunter.
right? The Death Knight, you can't take it out of your lineup, but the Paladin, you can take it out of your opponent's lineup very easily. But congratulations to Reqvam on moving on to the semifinals. We'll see more of Reqvam tomorrow. He's earned the right to rest for the rest of the day, maybe watch some of the matches, but we do have one more match left for Group A, which is going to be that elimination match between Gu and Levik. We're going to have to go to a break, though, before we get into that one, so don't go anywhere. More action here from the Hearthstone World Championship right after this.